Yes, we have with us former senior diplomat Mohan Kumar. Welcome, sir, to the program. Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the UN stressed for the need for urgent reform of the global institutions, including that of the UNSA. Tell us, why is this so important, the need for India's membership in it, and the hurdles in the way?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I think it's been very clear for some time now, several years, that the United Nations has not been delivering. You just take the two most important conflicts in the world. We have the conflict in Ukraine raging, and then you have the Middle East up in flames. And what you cannot help but notice is the complete impotence of the UN Security Council and its inability to act in these circumstances. So I think the Prime Minister is absolutely correct in saying that if global action has to match ambition, and he says global ambition is there, but there is no global action, I think he wants to make the central point that you can act only if the institutions are reformed. And obviously, the United Nations, as the mecca of all multilateral organs, has to be the place where reform has to begin first. And the UN Security Council absolutely is crying out for reform. You did ask me, Tanvi, about the obstacles. And I think the fact that it has taken 25 years would signal to you that there are very serious obstacles in the way. Most importantly, the permanent members of the Security Council who want to cling on to the veto. Some of them have objected to India's entry, China in particular. But more than anything else, I think the tipping point has been reached. The question really is there going to be now pressure on the United Nations to reform? Because the UN knows otherwise that it will be reduced to complete irrelevance in today's world.
UN General Assembly Prime Minister Modi also spoke of India's willingness to share its digital public infrastructure for the global good. How do you see the statement's relevance in today's world?
Oh, I think it's fantastic that he made 2 points actually in terms of sharing. One, he said, of course, as you rightly say, he said the digital public infrastructure, the India stack, has worked well for India, and we will be very happy to share with it. And I can confirm to your viewers that we are sharing that as we speak, and for a very, very small cost. It's not as if we are making money on it. So especially the Aadhaar technology and so on, we are helping a range of countries, trying to help them with digital public infrastructure. The other thing we also the Prime Minister also made was that our own development experiences in India, whether it is about abolishing poverty, whether it's about direct benefit transfer, these are also things which we are happy to share, because the Prime Minister makes the point that India has made progress. We are happy to share this development experience with other countries of the South, thereby making the point that experiences in the North may not easily be relevant for countries of the South. So I really think that was a very generous offer to make. I would conclude this segment by merely telling your viewers that this is leadership of the global South. It's not lending money. It's not the amount of money that you lend. It's not the rhetoric. It is really, when it comes to leadership of the global South, you have to act. You have to deliver, and you have to make sense. I think the Prime Minister did all of those three by essentially addressing the countries of the global South and saying that we are happy to share experiences with them.
Okay, two other key issues Prime Minister Modi raised at the UN General Assembly were cyber, maritime and space emerging as new areas of the conflict, and the need for a human-centric approach in our collective quest to a bright global future. So these issues have assumed such critical importance in the world today. So according to you, what must be done to address them?
So I think beginning with cyber, what we are seeing is the attacks on hospitals, schools, and telecom structures with disturbing regularity. The Quad statement underlined that as well. So one of the things that India is doing, and India has taken the leadership position in the context of Quad, is to train people of the Indo-Pacific countries. We will begin with the countries of the Indo-Pacific, trying to provide training to the people who are involved with cyber, making sure that their countries can take actions against these attacks. So that is the concrete thing that India is doing under its leadership in the context of Quad. But you also mentioned maritime, and there again, the quadrilateral security dialogue has an interesting component of again providing training. It's called Maitri, and it's the maritime information training of the international, the participants. And I think if India and other countries can also help the countries of the global south, and when I say Indo-Pacific countries, I'm talking of very small countries in the Pacific Islands and others in East Asia who may not have the resources to actually do real-time international maritime domain awareness. The Information Fusion Center in Gurgaon has been brought into the act. The quadrilateral mentions this center. And this is where I think we can help countries with real-time domain awareness in their maritime region so that that can help them enforce the law on their shores.
On the economic front, Sir, Prime Minister Modi hosted a roundtable of top tech CEOs from the US to enhance cooperation between India and the US in cutting-edge technologies such as that of AI, quantum computing and semiconductors. So what were the positive economic takeaways for India?
So Tanvi, I can't imagine a better environment than now. You do know, and your viewers know, that there are serious reservations about the West sharing technology, especially cutting edge technology with China. In the context of this, one country which has the size, the scale is India. You know, you've heard the saying, data is the new oil. If China's data is going to be difficult to access for obvious reasons, can you imagine the next country which has enough data with it, which can then be useful for tech companies? I think India is an automatic choice. If something works in India, it will work in the rest of the world. So I genuinely think that the tech segment is very important. PM always makes it a point to meet with the CEOs of tech companies, the names of who's who were there in this particular meeting. I would say the three things that come to mind. One is semiconductor, which I see on the screen now. I think there is a move to establish foundries and fabrication units in India. There is a move to actually include India as a key part of the resilient supply chain. The second is biotechnology, and India has obvious advantages in it. And the third, I would say, is artificial intelligence and quantum computing. Where I think India can make a signal contribution is in using the reservoir of engineers and scientists that we have. We may not have the hardware, but we have what I call the humanware. You know, you need software, you need hardware, but you also need personnel, you need human beings. And I think that is where I think India can make a real contribution. The ethical use of artificial intelligence is something that India has been saying for a very, very long time. So all in all, it is the emphasis on the tech partnership between US and India, which can actually prove to be a game changer, not just for the bilateral relationship for the world.
Briefly, sir, the key takeaways from the 6th Quad Leaders Summit from India's perspective.
Oh, I think there was strong language used on Indo-Pacific. There has always been strong language, but I thought this time it was a little pinpointed. It was clear. I think there was mention about South China Sea, East China Sea. And I think the real fear is that you already have two major theaters of war, one in Gaza, one in Ukraine. You don't want a hot war in Indo-Pacific. That's the first. The second, I think, is that the quadrilateral now has reached a phase where I think enough of principles and declarations they have to deliver. They've started delivering. So what you are seeing is the action phase of quadrilateral security dialogue. And I think that will make a very big difference in terms of the impact of Quad in the world today.
Also because India is hosting the next Quad meeting next year. Thank you very much, Mohan Kumar ji, for your views and analysis on the summit.